Hello and a warm welcome back to my channel. I am your host Grace RSM, and this channel here is all about that diaspora life. I bring you content on Kenyans out here in the diaspora, be it entertainment, lifestyle, events, whatever is trending out here, I do cover it. So do subscribe if you haven't and hit that notification button, and if you have, thank you so much for following. Today we're going to be discussing a very important topic that has affected a lot of people in the diaspora. You have heard of Lesedi developers, and I think before that it was Gakuyo and so many others, so many real estate developers that have gone down, and a lot of people have lost their money. Some of them from the diaspora, because we all know that diasporians are very keen on investing. So today I am going to be discussing with the guest that I have today how you can actually do this, what steps you need to take when you're buying land and investing in land in Kenya, and maybe even look at what has been going wrong with these investments. Why are these investors going down? What are they doing wrong? I have got with me a guest today who's going to be shedding some light on that. And I'm going to start by saying this guy, I met him out here in the UK. He was actually in Thatched house, and he was issuing title deeds to people that had bought land from him, and he'd come all the way to their doorstep to give them the title deeds. And needless to say, this inspired a lot of confidence in him, and he ended up selling out the land that he had, the phase that he was on, and was actually going back home to buy more land, because that's how much it was on demand, because he'd won people's trust and their credibility, and people were willing to invest in him. So he's going to be telling us the steps that you need to be taking before you buy land to ensure that you do not become a victim of these sham developers and lose your money. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO of Nyota Njema Real Estate, Perminus Kariuki.
Hello, Paminas.
Hi, thank you.
How are you doing? It's good to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for the warm welcome even in the UK.
Oh, much welcome. Would you start by telling us a little bit about yourself, please?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me today. My name is Perminus Kariuki. I am married to one wife with 2 girls back in Kenya, and I run a business called Nyota Njema Real Estate. Paminas is a born and bred boy from the village in Kinangop, that is Nyandarua County, and I ate the potatoes that people always speak about. After eating the potatoes, I think I became one of the sharp potatoes. Yeah. I was able to go to Maseno University, where I did my bachelor's in business administration, finance option with IT, and that is what I'm using to run my businesses. I left campus, and immediately after leaving campus, I got employed into a real estate company where I worked quite well, and within the first year I climbed up the ladder to be the marketing manager of the company.
Wow.
So I worked with them for 3 years, 3.5 years to be specific, and after that I went out to run my own business. So I have been running my business since the year 2019.
Is that now Nyota Njema?
Yes, Nyota Njema Real Estate. So I opened Nyota Njema Real Estate in the year 2018 December, and it was just running as an agency, selling on my boss's properties, amongst others. But then in the year 2019 June, I quit to run it full time.
To run your company full time?
Yes, yes.
Just to start with, I understand that this is a venture that requires a lot of capital.
Yes, yes.
How did you come up with that, and how do people, basically how do developers come up with that capital to start with?
To start with, the best capital you can get is social capital. Social capital are human beings who are ready to give you their products on their properties to sell. So the first person, the first approach was getting people who have properties in different areas, be it in Nairobi, be it in the neighborhood of Nairobi. They gave me their land, their plots to sell on their behalf, which I did for about a year, but that didn't yield a lot because, again, people could not identify the properties with myself. So I had to come back to my drawing board, and I realized that most people are asking me, what is yours? What do you have that is in your name? What do you have that is yours as Nyota Njema?
Yeah.
And that is what drove me to now venturing into investment. Having stayed for almost 6 months without any sale, I was able to get let me call it a dream and a revelation, to go to an area called Nyanyuki, because as I was not selling, when I was not selling, I was also getting a lot of feasibilities. I was doing a lot of researches on which areas can be best for investment.
Yeah.
So Nanyuki became one of the best areas that I had in my heart. So I was able to get to Nanyuki. I approached one person who was selling a land, 1.5 acres, and from my other circles, I'm into business groups. There's a BNI group called, there's a business group called BNI, which is Business Network International. I've been a member since 2017. So when I joined, when I was in that group, it's all about referrals in that group. So I would give a lot of referrals to other people, but I was not getting referrals for myself. So they asked me, can you get land that is in your name and we are going to promote you? So that's what I did. I went to Nanyuki, bought the first 1.5 acres. And the funny thing, I was buying without money, because at that time, you can imagine 6 months without having any coin.
Yeah.
I was a broke man.
Yeah.
But I had my savings of 3,000 plus the fuel for
wait. I'm talking about 3,000 pounds or 3,000 Kenya shillings.
3,000 Kenya shillings.
What?
Yes, because after 6 months of a dry season without business, I had exhausted all my savings, and this proceeds from a sale of my car. So at some point I had to sell my car and buy a cheaper car, which was not on loan, and that gave me a different mind shift. So when I did that, I was able to get to Nanyuki and approach these owners of the land. I told them, give me 90 days, 30 days to pay the deposit, and then the balance I can pay in 90 days. And that is what they told me. It's okay. Then I came, called my friends from BNI and other friends. Then they told me, let's go to the site visit on a Saturday. So they drove in their cars, went to Nanyuki, they saw my land. They were very excited. And the excitement on their face made them book 15 plots at a go. But only the 1.5 acres could only give me 12 plots. So meaning I was overbooked on the first site visit that I did to Nanyuki. So it was a good challenge, and I told them, let me get something, because I not paid the owner any amount. So I told them, let me see whether I can get some land which can accommodate you. At the same time, I went back to the guys in Nanyuki. I asked them whether they have some land, and the next near available land was 8 acres. So you can imagine I didn't have money for 1.5 acres, but now I get an opportunity to buy 8 acres. So I went on to buy the 8 acres.
And when you say buy, you went to pledge you would buy?
Definitely, buying is a process. Yes. So what I did, I called these guys and I told them, you know what, now I have a bigger land which you can all be fit in the same block, because they wanted 15 plots, I had 12 plots, so it was a good advantage. So they said, whatever the land is, we are going to buy it. And I remember telling the owner, I'm going to give you the money at the end of the month, and the deposit at the end of the month, and balance in 90 days. One thing I can say has kept me is the crazy faith to trust God and also to trust in yourself whenever you're doing this business.
That's good.
Yes.
Really good for someone looking to start and become a real estate developer. Now, I came across, when I was doing my research on you, on Nyota Njema, I came across the youth delivers on Twitter. And I think that's what really got my interest going.
Yes.
Because you're quite young. I'm not, do I want to ask your age?
It is somewhere, I'm a youth.
Come on. Anyway, let's not go there, but let's just say you're quite young.
Yes.
And
I'm in my 30s, so don't worry.
Yes, see, that's good. Yes. And normally we are kind of led to believe this is something that people in their late 40s, 50s, or like even in their 70s, they're the ones that are buying and subdividing land. And you're here in your 30s and you're doing this. So what was the Youth Delivers about?
Okay, before I come to the youth delivers, allow me to say something. I have learned in life you can get anything you want as far as you're trustworthy, and you can build trust on people. So how I have always acquired my land from the beginning is that I have created that approach and appearance to the persons who are selling the land to me, that I can be trustworthy. So with that, they even give me the land and give me the 90 days. And even if the 90 days are spill over, they give me some more time, maybe another 30 days to ensure that I pay them. The only thing I ensure is that we don't fail to pay as agreed. And whenever the money comes, we take it to the owners of the land before even we take our own profit. So now coming to the Youth Delivers. The Youth Delivers was trading on 5th of March 2022. This is after we had delivered more than 300 title deeds in a very magnificent and exciting title handing over ceremony, which was happening in Nairobi. It was at the United Kenya Club. So we had brought more than 500 people seated there. That is the people who had invested, around 300 of them, plus their friends and their friends' friend came to just witness how can this young man, together with their team, able to deliver the title deeds. So we were able to deliver title deeds, and that trended in the whole day, actually the same day and the following day, and at some point even Nyota Njema was trending because people could now see that even the young people can deliver in the real estate. So I believe real estate is not meant for a few, it is meant for all those who have the dream of pursuing it and fulfilling the desires of the Kenyans.
Okay. Now, when it comes to land, I think we all agree there is need for due diligence.
Yes, yes.
And not just on my part as a customer, because I could do all my research,
Yes.
but if you buy land that has issues, then I ban. So I want you to run us through your side of it as a developer, and then we can come on to what do I need to do as a customer looking to buy that land. So let's start with your end. What do you normally have to do when you're buying that big chunk of land to subdivide? What due diligence do you have to do on your end?
Wow, thank you. The first thing we do is to ensure that we know the history about the land. Because when you know the history about the land, you can be able to trace how it has come to be with the person that is currently the owner. This can be shown through the title. So the title deed, we don't ask for just the front page of the title deed, we ask for the 4 pages of the title deed. That helps us to show to see the history of the land. Maybe has it been charged before? Has it been discharged? Is there any charge has there been a caution put on the same, and not to sell the land? But then, besides doing the search on the registry and the registries, we also do a search or a due diligence research with the owners, with the locals in the area. So in any area, there is always the elders of the area. They are always the leaders of the area. So what we do, we ensure that we confirm with them who is the owner of the land, even before we check on what is on the title. And if what they tell us matches with what is on the title, we are confident to know that we can engage that person. Number 3 is that we also request to see the owner, the person selling the land. Because again, somebody may take the land from their uncle because they are old, or their dad because they are old, and they want to liquidate the land on their behalf. So for us, we demand to see the owner, the owner in comparison with their ID, and also the person in person. I remember one case when we were buying some land and somebody said the owner is in hospital. So he asked them, where is the hospital? And they started saying, no, even he has been discharged today. So I told them, where is he now? We can go and see the person. So before we buy, we have to also see the person selling, because we don't want to get dead people selling land to us, or even people who are proxies selling the land to us, and then eventually we have a problem with the transfer process. Yes, so that is how we do it as a company before even we start subdivide it to you.
So as a developer, once you've acquired this land, what do you do with it? Do you sort of develop it in any way before you actually sell it to the customer, or it's buy, divide, sell?
The process of selling land is not complicated, because once we have a confirmation that we have the authority to sell the land by committing a deposit, the owners give us access to their land. And when they give us that access to the land is to put beacons, because we are not getting money elsewhere. We are getting money from the pre-sales of the land even before we complete the transfer. So the first thing we get is that money, is access to the land to put in beacons. So when you come to any of our land, you'll find there are beacons on the site. But remember, these beacons can only be authenticated once the transfer has been done to the final user of the product, or that is of the land. So before we do anything else, even before we come to promote a project to the market, we have already engaged and signed an agreement between us and the owner, if we have not cleared the whole amount, because obviously that sometimes doesn't work always, that you have the full amount to pay the owner at a go. But if we have not done so, we give them a deposit and they give us authority to sell and also to access the land. Once that is enhanced, we are able to put beacons or erect beacons on the shamba, so that when you go to see, I'm showing you something on paper, but also you can be able to identify that on the ground. So that having been done, we ask you to do a search. If at that time the project has not been transferred to ourselves, they will give you the title with the original owner, and you can also authenticate whether that is what is on the registration search. So if the land has been transferred to us, then we give you a title which is in our name, and that is easier for your verification. So after that is done, we ask you to also, in your own way, go to the ground, even if you are not there. we can give you a person to take you, but also we can give you a pin to go to the shamba so that you can be able to identify with the people on the ground. That is the neighbors. Ask them, who is the owner of this land? They know. If they know it's owned by Nyota Njema or is being sold by Nyota Njema, they'll tell you that is being sold by Nyota Njema. If it is not, they'll tell you that is not being sold. So a due diligence doesn't only end at the registry. I would recommend that somebody can go to the ground and verify whether that land is really being sold, and if it is being sold by who.
Okay, so as a real estate developer, you've done your due diligence, you've put the beacons and you've done all that. As the person buying it, as a customer, what would you advise that we do? What is the process of buying land in Kenya?
The process of buying land
Where
is
do I
faster.
start?
It's first you express interest.
Yeah.
Because we cannot know you are buying land unless you have expressed an interest in buying land. So the process of buying land is you express an interest, and like if you are buying with us in Nyota Njema, we'll give you an expression of interest form, which can be an online form, or you can give you a physical form to fill. Once you fill that form, it helps us get your interest and also the number of plots that you are interested in. So what we do, we give you a return of with a document called the letter of offer. An offer letter is a document that shows what the developer is willing to offer to the end user or the buyer or the customer. So once the offer letter indicates the title number of the block, the plots that you have been able to be allocated, what is the price, what are the payment terms, what are the bank details for the developer where you can deposit your money, what are you can mention maybe the vendor's advocate, the developer's advocate, and in that way it's a document showing you a summary of the transaction. Once you are comfortable with that, and that is what you had agreed with the owner, with the one selling to you or the developer, you can now sign it and send it back with a deposit. Then, after the deposit has been done, the process goes ahead. Once the deposit has been committed, the developer must provide a sales agreement to you and to your lawyer as a customer. The sales agreement is a binding document. Please note, an EOI or expression of interest form and an offer letter, they're not binding because it's an expression of interest. The other one is a letter of offer. So I can accept the offer or reject. But once I accept the offer, I should get an agreement between me and yourself so that we are able to have a binding document which can be even standing in the court of law should there be a dispute. So the sales agreement is a very important document, and I have been telling people in my latest interviews, put that sales agreement in a safe place like you'd put your title in a safe place. Because even after the process of transfer has been complete, you can always refer to the sales agreement terms should there be a dispute of the same land. And then after that, once the sales agreement has been executed, you continue to pay as maybe even as the process of sales agreement execution is going on, you continue to pay for your monthly payment on installments until completion of the project, of the payment. Once you complete paying, the developer should ask you if you are transferring for them for you. We will ask you for your copy of ID, copy of KRA PIN, and also passport photos. If you are transferring for yourselves, we'll ask the developer to give you the transfer signed consent board, RAD consent board forms, transfer forms, the company's certificate of incorporation, tax, the director IDs and the KRA PIN, plus any other document that may be required at that time. So the process is quite vigorous. But because we want to be customer-centric as Nyota Njema, we encourage customers if we can process for them the title as an after-sales service. So you don't have to struggle with that process of completion. We help you transfer that land to yourself, and you can do a search after we have given you the title to verify whether the land is in your name.
Okay. Is it fair to say from what you've explained with the sale agreement, if there were, for example, as it happens, two people that the plot of land was sold to, and you've got your sale agreement, can that be in any way useful?
Yes, yes. You know, we have had cases in the past that somebody produces a similar copy of title in the same number but with a different name. So what I would recommend, if you had a sales agreement is also deposited with the registry when you are transferring the land, because it asks you on what basis are you transferring this land to person A. So the sale agreement should also have, the registry should have a copy of the sale agreement in the registry. So they just trace from the records. Where is the sale agreement? Is it marrying with what you are producing as a sales agreement with yourself? So if it is not, then you don't have anything to show.
If
But
they have
it is
the other
they have the
person's
other
sale
person's agreement, then
you
they
lose.
have you lose the case.
Okay.
So that's why a sale agreement is a very important document in the land transaction.
Okay, right. So you're now in the UK, and as I understand, you have been to, is it Dubai?
Yes, I was in Dubai in March and also in June, and
Yeah.
also went to Abu Dhabi to meet Kenyans there.
Okay, so how, with all this shams going on with the land, how have you managed to penetrate the UK market?
I would say trust takes time,
Yeah.
but with the proper building of relationship, the time can be narrowed. And for me, I believe not in a hit and run sales. I look at creating relationships with my customers such that they'll be feeling comfortable to refer me to their friends and their friends' friends. Through the referral, I believe that is the best marketing strategy that one can adopt. Because when I tell you something on word of mouth, you can be able to verify whether what I'm saying is genuine from my tone, from my reaction, as opposed to when you just see something on the media. So we have capitalized on referral marketing. So our source of referrals and growth has majorly come 80% to 90% from referrals.
I know what you're saying, because
Yes.
I know a couple of people that had their titles issued
Yes.
in Thatched house.
Yes.
So I think that's sort
Like
of
actually,
creates-
those guys, I didn't know them. For me, I've been talking to them on chat, on WhatsApp, and some would call directly. They just were referred by their sisters who are in Kenya, whom happened to know Nyota Njema. Others were referred by their parents who happened to know Nyota Njema. And what we did, we decided to make this quite exciting. Instead of just telling people that we deliver titles, can we deliver the titles even to your doorstep? So like we came to the UK, I had more than 20 title deeds for Kenyans who had invested earlier. Now we brought the title deeds to them, and I saw at that event in that house, it was very exciting. People were very excited receiving titles, and everybody who was in that audience, I'm saying everybody, ended up booking a plot. Even those who had bought, and I was bringing their title deed, they bought
even
more
more.
plots.
Ah,
And
okay.
that gave us confidence even in entering the market.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't come here before we show people what we have done.
Yeah.
And when we are confident, we have delivered title deeds, we have had a handover ceremony. We have also given people, even in London, who you can call independently and search. We have brought them the title deeds. I think that was the best entry to this place.
And talk us through the. I understand people can pay by installments,
Yes.
which is quite handy. I know someone that bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Talk us through the installments, like about how much for your plots, or how does that work?
Okay, let me say every company has a market penetration, and every company has an opportunity to come up with their own concept. As Nyota Njema realized it, having been a finance student, I had to analyze and see what is the economic status of our country,
Yeah.
and also of Kenyans living in the diaspora. So when I did that analysis, I realized most people may not have the lump sums to pay in cash,
Yeah.
and also to pay maybe large lump sums of money within a specific period of time. So what do I do in such an information? I decided to come up with a concept that people can pay litro by litro. At the end of the time of it all, you can enjoy, many people enjoying paying litro by litro amount, and then we enjoy the economies of scale even from the production side. So what do I mean by this? If I have 100 people giving me a small amount, say 20,000 Kenya shillings, I have 2 million Kenya shillings. I can be able to go to the bank and tell them, you know what, every month I am assured of 2 million Kenya shillings coming in here. You can give me a loan which I can be paying 1 million every month, even every month, say. And this is to ensure that I pay the owner within 90 days, because the owners of the land require their money to be paid in 90 days. So in that case, we are able to come up with a concept which we said you can pay a plot at 50,000 deposit, and the balance you pay between 10 months and 12 months. That makes sure that makes the life of the investor not stressed. So you can invest as you continue enjoying your life on the other side. And you know what that means? If, for instance, in the UK, from just spending an extra hour every day and getting 10 pounds every day, every day, that is per hour on an extra time, you can actually have 150 in 15 days, and that 150 is the only amount I need for you at the end of the month. So even if you decide to do 2 plots with only 300 to 350 pounds every month, you can get a plot with us, because we are giving you a flexible payment plan to ensure that you don't strain yourself in investing, and make sure investment becomes a habit not a one-time thing.
Yeah.
You know, some people have bought land before and they say, I don't want to invest again in Kenya. It's very hectic.
Yeah.
Those guys ask for a lot of money. I want us to, my desire is to make Kenyans feel they are not having a burden in investing, but exciting moments when investing.
Important question when it comes to that 150, because it could be 150, but I'm paying for 5 years. Taking case like, case in point, the ones you were selling at the moment, the ones you were selling to the diasporans, how much, what's the duration? If I pay that 150 per month, how many months am I looking to pay for that? For example, is it an 8?
Yes, that is for a 50 by 100 plot. I just mentioned and said you paid between 10 months to 12 months.
And with that 150,
With
I
that
can pay it
150.
within a year?
Yes, within a year.
Okay, that's not bad.
Because my concept is this. If you are paying 150 every month and you are not feeling the pain, after the end of the year and you are get your title, what does that give you? The 150 you are paying every month for the previous year, you're not taking it anywhere. So you can reinvest another plot for that year.
Yeah.
So my culture and what I'm trying to inculcate in Kenyans is to have an investment culture. Every year you can be having a plot with only 150 per month, and if you are able to do 300 per month, so every year you can be saving for a plot. Then in 10 years you'll have 10 plots. You're actually better off than somebody who said, I'll buy off 10 plots at a go.
Yeah.
Because when they buy off 10 plots at a go, they got to strain themselves in terms of spreading themselves so thin.
Yeah.
But if you have a luxury, remember you are not here also to just do your work for 1 year. You are here maybe for the next 5 years. You're here for the next 10 years. You can make it an investment habit, just like a saving culture for yourself.
Right. So sell us this land. What have you got in Nanyuki? And I understand you've been doing this for a while. What phase are you doing right now in Nanyuki, and how much are the plots going for currently? Okay,
thank you. We've been able to do quite a number of phases. A phase is around 8 acres to 10 acres. The smallest phase we have is 8 acres. That was phase 1. We did it 53 plots. That was 16 quarters and 37 eighths. We're also able to do phase 2, 75 plots of 50 by 100. Phase 3, 75 plots of 50 by 100. Phase 4 was quarters and halves.
And you remember
projects.
all this?
It is my project. I love it. So phase 4, we had quarters and acres and halves, which were 29 plots. We have also been able to complete. All these have delivered titles to Kenyans.
Okay. What phase are we on now?
Now we are in phase 7, phase
what are you
8,
selling now?
and phase 9. Phase 7, we have very few plots remaining, maybe 15 to be on the higher side. After it was actually taken by so many Kenyans in Dubai.
Okay.
Then I came with a project to the UK, which was phase 8 and phase 9. Phase 8 is almost sold out. It was 144 plots, and I'm happy to say that Kenyans in the UK have also embraced us and have invested, especially when they saw the title deeds.
Yeah,
that was the
that
most
their confidence.
it was a turnaround point for us. And then we also have another one for 75 plots, which is phase 9.
The plots, these plots in Nanyuki, in phase, you said 7 has sold out, 8 is nearly out. How much are they going for?
Yes, our plots, we have 2 offers. We have a cash offer of 275,000 per plot, but we also have an installment offer of 299,000.
Okay.
So at the 299,000, you only pay a deposit of 50,000 Kenya shillings, and then the balance you pay 20,000 per month for 12 months. That gives you a very flexible payment plan.
Yeah.
And what I didn't mention is that our lands are very strategically located. Nanyuki is the fastest growing tourist destination with the upcoming roads. We have the road between Nairobi, that is Keno, and Nyeri in Marwa being dualized, and that is almost done. We have the expansion of the airport happening from the private airstrips. Now KA has taken over. They are developing it to become a public airport. We have the railway now, the train is also working.
Really happening.
So Nanyuki becomes a very good hub.
Trust me, you do not need to sell it to people. It is already sold.
Yes, yes. But also in our land, we have developed the land. We have done the roads, access roads, all from the main road. The farthest land we have is 4.5 kilometers from tarmac, but on a very well done graded road, which we graded ourselves in Nyota Njema.
Wow, okay.
So we have also done some activities for the school in the neighborhood. We have done tree planting with the school. We have done a toilet for the school.
Oh,
Just to
okay.
make sure that the kids also feel our impact in the society.
That's really good. That's actually quite good. Your CSR of the year
Yes,
project.
and once in a while when I go to the site, especially on a weekday, I go and get a chance to speak to the class 8 and class 7 kids. I talk to them and give them hope that some of us went to such schools and we can be able to, we are who we are. So besides just selling land, we create a relationship with the society around there. So even if you go to my shamba today and I had not notified them that you are going to come, they'll call me or text me and to tell me, so and so is in the shamba, or somebody in the shamba. How you send somebody? So that also gives us confidence that our security for our land is well guaranteed. You can go there and see our barbed wire for the fence shambas is not destroyed, whereas in other lands it is quite destroyed because of intruders. But because of the societal relationship we have created, they're able to protect, they are able to take care of our land even when we are not there.
Do you have any other areas, or is it just Nanyuki?
Yeah, we are developing into other areas. We have some other lands in Kitengela, that is in Acacia, Kitengela Acacia, going for 985,000. We have some other land in Joska going for 850,000.
Wow.
We have a land in Diani, around 8 kilometers from the beach, around 450 and 400 in cash.
Wow.
So per plot, all this is per plot of 50 by
course,
100.
yeah.
And we are hoping to do quite a big project in Malindi. We are waiting for the title deed to be ready because, again, we don't want to sell something without a title deed ready. So once that is done, we are going to bring it to the market. It's going to be a big mega project in Malindi, which is going to be an agricultural project, which can also be a countryside project where people can be farming and having a residence there. So that's our area of growth. But besides that, we hope to develop houses. My biggest desire is to see Kenyans happy. And Kenyans' happiness comes from owning a property you call yours. So I imagine if we can only convert, at least in the next 5 years, 10,000 Kenyans to have their own houses they call home at an affordable price with flexible payment plan, in partnership with the government affordable housing agenda, I think that would go a very long way. But also on the shambas that we have, we desire to see a green economy, a green society. What I mean by this, I encourage members of our customers who have invested with us to plant a tree on the shamba. Because when we plant trees, we align ourselves to whatever the government has been telling us we can do 10 million trees. So these 10 million trees will not come if you and I don't put a tree on our shamba. So I also encourage that to happen. And when we green the area, we also increase the productivity of the area. We increase the value of the area. So that's something we push for our customers to do.
So I'm going to ask you one important question.
Yes.
There's a lot of companies that have been there before you, and they have sold us all these dreams. They have sold us this big picture, and then they've gone ham. And people's monies have been lost, and it's been, chaotic. It's been all over. So what are you doing different that's not going to lead us down the same line? What do you think you've mastered? What have you learned that will not lead you down the same path of destruction?
I would say this, everything rises and falls on the foundation. The foundation set in any organization means a lot in terms of its sustainability. Nyota Njema was not founded because of money, but to solve Kenyans' cries, Kenyans' desires to own property in a genuine way. And that is why we see we don't want to sell so many properties at some point, then we go down. We want to create a relationship. As you heard in my earlier presentation, I said, we are creating an investment habit, an investment culture with Kenyans. So that if you have been paying £150 every month for a year and you get a title deed, next year I will not say I don't need that customer. We sustain you with that. We have a strategic plan which is telling us how we are going to do it. Now we are selling land. Tomorrow we are going to develop on that land so that land doesn't just become idle. We can have some income generating activities happening on the land.
Do you have partners in this? Because I think that's where it goes all down.
The company, for the company?
Yes.
For the company, it's run by myself and my wife. She's my co-director. So we run and we pursue this to be a family business which can live beyond our life. I desire that my daughters can come and run the company even when I'm of old age, and their children can also run in the same. I'm learning from the Indians who are my very good friends. Them, they don't do a hit and run business. They ensure they protect their business name and they grow their business even with the generations to the 5th and the 6th generations to come.
Yeah.
So we have a strategic plan which is already in place,
Yeah.
which we hired a professional to do that. We also have we have been doing evaluation meetings to ensure that the strategic plan is followed. We also have set strong structures to ensure there is efficiency in serving our customers from the point of purchase to the point of delivery. We ensure that it is a flawless process. Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound well thought out. So what advice would you give someone looking to, what's your parting shot?
Thank you very much. My parting shot is this. If you delay to invest, you are delaying to expand your future. Investment doesn't wait. It's like the sun, which doesn't wait for a king. You just need to start now. Don't say don't have enough money. There is no enough money for investment. You will use what you have to get what you don't have. When you have an investment project, it pushes you to push yourself to working an extra hour, to working an extra mile, to get an extra coin so that you can service your investment project. So to my Kenyans living in diaspora, Kenyans living in the country, I want to tell you that time for investment is when you have a chance, and it is now.
Absolutely.
If it goes, never say never. It is now or never.
So that was all for today. I hope you have learned something, and the next time you're investing in land, or be it getting someone to build a house for you, you're going to do all the due diligence and take the necessary steps to make sure that you do not become a victim. That was all for today. Thank you so much for watching. RSM out.